shop together and whatever, but they're like, just because I've been taking the time to do these calls and things like that, it's really humbling. They sell you, they completely do. Another thing too is when you're in transactions, if things don't go right, you don't get the oh, I've never been through it, you don't have that at all. It's all mistakes are forgotten. When you're in a transaction with agents and things that are involved with this, it's really great. And one thing is in people's lives, they have the rock that they can rely on, and then the glue that keeps people together. This is you're like the glue here. I think you're keeping it together. With the relationships. Let's see here. Another thing is with your awareness training is when you do get an introduction. I always send a thank you email. And that awareness is I put a list of, the life events. I think I don't know if I sent you one. I don't know. But let's see here, let me get back on topic. So I don't know if you guys use a CRM or anything like that, or a contact manager. If you don't, Google, Gmail, contacts, and calendar will work great for this.
Karen's my CRM.
I don't know what a CRM is.
Well, as long as it gets put in there, that's what matters. And the thing is with this, okay, you'll have agents, you'll have past clients, you'll have friends and things like that. You don't have to be slick with it. It's the same thing to everyone. The only thing that is customized is what those events are to that person. And it has the same effect. It doesn't matter, like I said, if they're a client, agent, whatever. You don't have to get complex with it at all. And you know what? There's sometimes when you try to. This happened to me before. I've had a few people. I have number 22. It says one a-hole or maybe two. I have my cousin's friend who was kind of a whatever. I sent her husband a whatever happy birthday. She did a spam report on me. What the hell's that, But that's okay. I'll take that's it. That's the only negative thing I could really think of. And I mean one person who was kind of an a-hole from the beginning. So, what it is with this, as far as like getting started with something like this, you want to try to build, I guess, your top 150 at least. And again, those are the top 150 people in your life that you think care about you the most. It doesn't have to be a past client. It doesn't. It's whoever it is.
Wait, 150 people that care about me?
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
Well, start out with 80. Start out with 80.
He'll start with 50.
Maybe you should start with 10. No.
Or the top
Take the zero.
My dog.
150 people that don't hate me. That won't do a stand report.
So basically, it's no one that really knows Levi.
Guess I better invite some more friends.
That's count.
And then what you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to get their basic info as much as you can, and you're not going to have every one of them. You're going to have, obviously, their name, some emails, some mailing addresses, some cell phone numbers, or what have you. And, like I said, you could source that off of, like, Facebook, going through their thing. Or if you have, like, your other emails where you have their contacts, like I have Gmail and Yahoo that automatically adds it into a contact. So you could scroll through that and go, oh, okay, and then you could patch it together, and things. And the, like I said, this started off for me as a birthday program, and this is what So say you don't have their birthday, but you have their phone number, okay? And I did this. It works great. I just call them up. I go, hey, Jim, this is Nick. He goes, hey, what's up? I go, I just want to wish you happy birthday. He goes, it ain't my birthday. It's like, it's not. I go, when's your birthday? And he goes, oh, June. I go, okay. And that's it. And then you do that, and then you go, and then it's funny or whatever, but you get that information, then you go into a forward conversation, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. And that's it. So you add that bit and piece, and then you start asking, hey, how's things and that, and then you're putting this information in. Because that way, the next time you call them, you'll have these notes, so you can ask a more specific forward thing, like, oh, did your son get out of boot camp, or whatever it is, and then you just gather more information, about that. And really, I think, if you just focus like a day, like 8 hours just doing that, building it up, whatever you do, putting it into whatever your contact manager thing is, or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Just, honestly, it will pay. You do that for 8 hours to get it set up, and then it's a go after that. And then every morning, when you have those dates, your little contact manager, it'll say, today is, so-and-so's birthday, or what have you.
It's the anniversary of it not being Jim's birthday.
Yes, exactly. But that's really, just to get it set up. And I'll tell you, every day, every call, every time I make calls, I feel bad calling them leads, but I get leads. When I make these calls, like every single day. And these are like, they're people. These aren't just, like I said, there's different, ways of generating business that work out fine, but this here, you're getting their, the people who they care about the most, And I will say the enjoyment level in my business, as far as this goes, it's, I don't know, like, I don't want to say too flowery of words, but it just has this graceful flow, and it's people are happy and friendly, and it's just, and, we do about 7 million a month at about 350 basis points, so, it goes to the bank, but no, it's really just, it's just been the best thing for my business, and, really, it's been the best discovery in my life. And like I was saying with Jim, if I retired and say I didn't have a way to monetize these calls and things like that, I would still do them, because it starts off my day great, and it's increased my friendships and everything. And, like I said, I was a rock star at the party, remember? I didn't know.
So,
But, that's kind of it.
we'll go into, I appreciate it, we'll go into some questions real quick. So maybe describe, because we talked about this briefly on the phone, when you take a loan application, because you're using the loan application process as data points too, correct?
What do you mean specifically?
So to get those, to find out with the forward information or specific dates, when you're taking the loan app, you're also asking, probing, or when they say something, you're then jotting it down. I think you were explaining something to me about
Well,
that.
obviously, you're gonna be getting things like their birth dates and things like that.
Anniversaries.
Yeah, you don't wanna make it too, you wanna take it a bite at a time as far as what you're doing, But just the fact, as far as building your top 150, obviously, past clients in your LOS, you're gonna have a lot of information, Did they have kids? If so, what are their ages? We got that, right? We have birth dates, we have mailing addresses, we have emails, we have phone numbers. So right off your LOS, you're gonna be able to build it quickly.
And you have loan anniversary dates too.
Yeah.
You, how long you been doing this?
Doing this?
Well,
I'd say in my career, I've done always some sort of a birthday thing. Like years and years ago, I was a member of Loan Toolbox, and I used the Greg Frost, the ACT templates, the action marketing thing, and it had, that kind of started bringing things together. But I think as time went on, just trying to do different things and improve it, and just, looking at what your successes are and your failures, and then trying to improve it.
tweak it.
So it's just, I would say I've been really solid with this for 7 years. I don't know, or you know. But it's been ongoing, because like I said, start off with birthdays, and it's like, oh,
So it's
spouse's
evolved.
birthday, or kid's birthday, even pets, you know?
Dogs, people
Yeah,
are big on
Wow.
their dogs'
totally,
birthdays.
totally.
How many calls a day do you think you do a day?
Of these?
Of these, of these.
It varies, I'd say, you know, 5 to 10.
5, 10.
Wow.
And you getting, what would you say the percentages of just leaving a voicemail versus actually talking to somebody?
I don't know,
What's your dog's birthday?
you know,
April
it's,
15th.
you know, I do it the first thing anyhow, because obviously you'll have like your PM time, but really I just do it, it's my first thing that I do. And whether it's the ideal time to call, that's just, you know, I structure my day that way.
So you do, so in your morning, you do your pipeline review with your team, and then as soon
Yeah.
as you're done, you go straight into your calls?
Yeah, into
And
this.
you take about an hour, 2 hours a day, or?
Well, what I do is after my team meeting, I have what I call big opportunity time, which is 90 minutes of my top 6 things that I have to do. So I make that list before I go to bed. When I get up that morning, I put it in a priority sequence. But number one sequence, number one is always these calls. That's always the first thing that I go to. And, yeah.
Okay. And we talked about you doing also emails. You're still big on
Oh, absolutely.
marketing emails, so it's in
Yeah.
conjunction with calls.
But one thing I do is if you have like the CRM where you have the thing that says, this was sent by blah, 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 you know, and it puts it at the bottom. What I do is I just hit space a whole bunch of times, so like that is like way below, so if they open their email, that it doesn't, they can't tell it's like out of my little
That is
CRM.
actually pretty
Ours
smart.
doesn't say anything like that.
It won't do, okay,
Uh-uh.
good.
Wait, you said that you will call someone, for example, on their birthday and send them an email?
The day before.
Day
The
before.
day before. Why do you do both?
Sometimes they don't.
Because I'm in sales.
Just to make sure that they.
Make sure
Like,
they.
what do they say, timid salesmen have skinny kids or something?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just saying, I'm gonna send it, you know.
Okay, we'll
That's-
get to questions in a second, guys. I want to hit a couple more.
Yeah, sorry, Jim.
Oh, that's right. Let's see. So, another question is, can you share a story of your most memorable call? Or you might have.
Well, I got a lot of them,
Oh, I'm
you
sure.
know, but one of them was, you know, my mom passed away a few years ago, and I had a friend whose dad passed away close to that time. And I just remember thinking, you know, going through my Facebook stuff and just whatever, trying to add, and then I was thinking heartfelt, and then I just thought, oh, her dad died, and I'm like, you know, this is heartfelt for sure, but oh my God, you know, it's like,
Do you want
so
it?
I put it in her contact thing, and then the next year came by, and all of a sudden, like, all right, whose birthday this? And then it's like, Dad died. And I'm like, well, I don't really have this, you know. And it's not like, you know, it's not like I'm gonna get a loan off of her dad dying. I'm not that, you know, twisted or whatever. It's just really about that relationship building thing. And I didn't have I had not at that point created an email template for when your dad dies. I had, you know, and I was just like, I was kind of frozen. And then I just emailed, I said, hey, this is Nick. I know tomorrow's might be a tough day for you. If you need somebody to talk to, I'm there for you.
Nice.
You know, and then I called, and you know, luckily I got her voicemail too, because I didn't know what the hell I was going to say. Call me back, and she called me back, and she happened to be an agent, you know, and you know, tears were, you know, there was tears in that phone call, but tears of happiness and thanks and remembrance. And I'll tell you what, you know, you do that with one of your agents or a bunch of your agents or your friends or whatever, you know,
Get some business.
you're there, you're in. You're in. You're gonna get the Thanksgiving invite. You know, you
Wow.
will, for sure. But I'd say that was just that tougher call. It's heartfelt, but geez, you know.
So maybe one more question. Taryn and I were talking yesterday, and she came up with a pretty powerful word, and I remember our conversation. You kind of described it the same way, but maybe you can elaborate a little more. She said that she used the word of these, when you build that connection so intense, by this very simple activity, they sort of feel indebted to you. Maybe tell us how you feel about that.
Well, I kind of went over that a little bit, but I guess that would be, that law of reciprocity, you know, and the, and, you know, the law of importance and remembrance, if there is a law, but I just wrote it in. But it's just the fact that you are, you know, if you want people to remember you, you lead from the get-go with actions that are remembering them, you know, and that's what you're doing, you know.
And one of the comments you made to me on the phone, which I thought was pretty impactful for me, was you said these calls are never about you getting business. It's always about, you make it about them.
Well, no, it's about getting business, but what I'm saying is that's why I have the Ford. I mean, it's about building a stronger relationship, and it's really about, you know, you saying, I remember you, you know. Like I said, thinking of you times 1,000, thinking of you, thinking of you, thinking of you. And then they're gonna start thinking of you. Not just, they will think of you as their friend in the loan business, but they'll also think of you as their friend that stands above and beyond. You know,
Interesting.
just
That's a good point.
by this.
You're not overtly pointing out anything about loans on
No,
those calls.
well-
You're really just talking about the person.
Well, that's why I have that
Yeah.
Ford thing, so I
Yeah.
don't go into Mr. Interest Rate mode or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And
Zero
that's
points
what-
and zero
Yeah.
fees, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but that's why I do that, so that my outward questions are about them, the family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
That's great.
All right, last question I have, sorry, I know the last one's the last one, but I guess a big question I think everybody's gonna probably have too is, I know you've been doing it for quite a few years. If you were just to average, how many referrals do you think you get a day? And you might have answered it earlier, I don't remember.
You mean just off of this?
Just off of this, yes.
Oh,
Just a guesstimate.
2 to 7,
A day?
yeah. Sometimes goose egg, but not much. I mean, really, it's just, I do. And then it's stuff, I don't know, there's also that building effect of someone who you talked to like a week ago or things like that. You know, they won't always, you know, have it on the spot, but, you know, it's funny because some people who don't do this, they think it's like, oh, that's just like a relation, you know. No, you get deals now. You get, you know, you're pulling credit that day, you know, as far as just the pure sales aspect of it, you are, literally.
All right, let's open it to questions.
Yeah, I got a
If-
question.
but let's do hands so we know who to get, go ahead.
You've been doing this 7 years, you said, actively, roughly. You've
Well,
been doing it the
well, no,
whole time,
I've been
but-
at LO since 2002, but this,
Right,
Yeah.
right. But actively pursuing this thing about 5, 6,
yeah,
7
it's
years,
been,
something
it's
like that.
I would say I've been pretty much committed to
This process, yeah.
the birthday thing, you know, I've been, you know, because before that, I do it a little bit, and, you know, I'm got a season pass at Crystal Mountain and
Right.
whatever, you know.
So with that, have you been at the same company?
No.
Mortgage company, that whole time? How many companies have you been with in that 7 years? And how?
Well, you know,
Just as many as
when
we
the
have.
meltdown
right.
hit,
And like the rest
I
of
had a
us?
custom business card that said mortgage gypsy.
Okay.
Or you getting, you know, acquired or, you
So
know,
then that leads me to
dequired by.
my actual real question, which is, what the problem that I see with, like, from my aspect is, you know, you switch a company and all those reminders are now gone. You know,
Not in,
because-
not in, not in Google,
Calendar.
not in your Google
So you do
Calendar.
everything on a personal CRM type of deal, like a
Correct.
Google Calendar, and that's where you are able to keep that
Yep.
stuff. So no
Yeah.
matter what company you switch to, you're always getting a reminder.
Yeah, I use my clients.
No, I'm just.
I'm just-
You know, I
Right, but I have to
started-
call you
I
out.
I had this whole Bay calendar filled out, you know, and then I come to Lone Star and now I get no reminders. And
If
I'm
you
like,
sync-
son of a, you know,
you
they only
sync
did
your-
everything in Outlook,
Sync your Outlook
So-
to your phone as well, and it will follow your phone.
not if you change companies.
Well, no,
I
but
have all
you
my
should,
base stuff on my Outlook.
so you know, as far as your contact management things, that's not, like, if you take an application and things like that, of course, the company has to keep that.
Right.
But they don't have to keep, you know, all of that stuff, and that's, you know, you legally have rights to that. So if you have a
Well,
database.
we also have your database from the old Encompass file, so those will have all the birth dates and
Yeah.
things like in there.
But then where do you input that? Into Google? So that
Well,
you
you
don't
would
ever
just,
lose it?
it's just like any export and import. So like I use a thing called My Clients because I'm a member of By Referral Only. And that's our little CRM that I use on that. So when I wanted to do things like that, it's just basically